Welcome to Jank Play TCG. My name is Landon, and here we play Jank. So, the Swords of Justice Pokemon, they came out in, I believe, Silver Tempest, and on PTCGL here, they were bugged for quite a while. They recently fixed that bug, and so now, and not let me test my Swords of Justice deck. The one I had built was apparently trash and didn't work. But this is what I've landed on to get Swords of Justice running. So in the Pokemon TCG, we have a few engines, as we call it, that are currently considered like the best to use. There's the Inteleon engine with the Shady Dealings, Inteleon and Drizzile, which lets you search for trainer cards, which is a phenomenal, engine, but takes up a lot of space in a deck, space I didn't want to have to give it, basically. We have the Bibriel engine. It's a Pokemon that lets you draw up until you have 5 cards in your hand. Fantastic engine. That is what I originally used with the Swords of Justice, and that didn't work. So I went with Comfey and the Lost Zone engine. So Comfey, out of 4 of in the deck, has the ability Flower Selecting. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in the active spot, you may look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put one of them into your hand, and put the other card into the Lost Zone. Great! You can trigger it multiple times through using multiple Comfeys in a single turn, sadly only 1 per Comfey, but that lets you dig through your deck quite fast. And we are playing nothing but basics, so we're not trying to deal with complicated evolution lines, which really helps out. Of course, I think with any Flower Selecting Comfey deck, you gotta play Cramorant. We play 2 copies of Cramorant. It just attacks for 0 energy, and it's 110 damage. 110 is a fantastic number to be hitting, and for 0 energy, you really can't ask for better. But we also play 1 copy of Manaphy because we play nothing but small basics. We need to protect them while they're on the bench. We play 1 copy. We don't run into a lot of bench damaging Pokemon, but when we do, we're glad Manaphy is in the deck to save us from that. So let's talk Swords of Justice. We've got 4 different Swords of Justice here, and they all serve kind of different purposes. Let's first talk about Cobalion. Cobalion is our backup energy acceleration. It is not our primary source of energy acceleration. It is definitely our backup. Our primary source is Mirage Gate, which is why we use the Lost Zone engine and all that stuff. But let's talk about Cobalion first. It has an ability, Justified Law. Your basic Pokemon attacks do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Dark Pokemon. Not very relevant. Dark Pokemon are usually weak to fighting in grass, which we do have those in the deck, but they're not doing enough damage for weakness to do a heck of a lot. Even with this plus 30, it's just usually not the game changer that it might otherwise think, that people might otherwise think. But for 2 energy, it does follow up, which does 30 damage, and you get to choose 2 of your benched Pokemon. For each of those Pokemon, search your deck for a basic energy card and attach it to that Pokemon. Then shuffle your deck. And that is the backup energy acceleration. Sometimes, early game, you just need to get energy out into the field, and this is a great way to do it. We've got Terrakion. Fighting Pokemon, so again, hitting those darkness for weakness. For 3 energy does 120. During your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage from attacks done to this Pokemon, which is amazing. Preventing damage done to it is fantastic and buys you time. Or it forces your opponent to have to gust around it. And we're playing nothing but single prizers, so gusting to another Pokemon isn't going to be that big of a boon. It's just going to let them actually take a KO. Whoop-de-doo. You're even saving your energy if they do that. However, you cannot use this attack over and over and over, because if one of your Pokemon used Cavern Tackle during your last turn, this attack can't be used. So every other turn you can use it, but even then it's very difficult. This, to me, is our second attacker in the deck. Not our primary attacker, but our second attacker. We also have Virizion. Virizion has a very interesting single energy attack, 4 as 1, 20 plus. If Cobalion Terrakion and Keldeo are on the bench, this attack does 70 more. So that is 90 damage total that Virizion is doing. And that's not bad for a single energy. It's not as good as Cramorant for 0 energy, but it's a great backup attacker. Can hit that grass weakness that rarely shows up, but sometimes it does. So that's pretty nice. And of course, last but certainly not least, our primary attacker is Keldeo. Keldeo has this amazing 4-1 attack. I mean, it's the same name, but it is a very different attack. For 3 energy, 1 water, 2 colorless, 50 plus. If Cobalion, Terrakion, and Virizion are on your bench, this attack does 170 more damage. That is 220 damage, which is a phenomenal amount of damage to come out such a tiny Pokemon. This is definitely our primary attacker. Now, 3 energy is a lot, which is why, let's switch over to trainers here, we are relying on Mirage Gate. This is why we play Comfey. Mirage Gate you can only use if you have 7 or more cards in the Lost Zone, but it lets you search up for 2 basic energy cards of different types and attach them to your Pokemon any way you like. So if we go back to Keldeo, we can search our deck for 2 energy, attach them to Keldeo, attach a 3rd one from hand, and we are dealing 220 damage pretty darn quickly. That is fantastic. Same with our backup Terrakion here. Again, 3 energy, 2 from Mirage Gate, 1 from hand, and we are doing 120 and gaining immunity the next turn. But the Lost Zone engine needs a little bit of help. We've got 3 Switch Cart, so we can get Comfeys in and out of the active, and use their flower selecting ability to see more cards. We have Escape Rope for a very similar purpose. However, this also disrupts your opponent, forces them to switch their Pokemon. We play 2 copies of that because, you know, a little less than Switch Cart, but we still find it extremely useful to get certain Pokemon out of the active. We've got 3 copies of Air Balloon. Now, Comfey can use this very well. However, other Pokemon that we play can use it very well too, so it's just a nice, good, generic free retreat or lower retreat cost tool. We've got 3 copies of Scoop Up Net, which is a fantastic card and lets you reuse Comfey, especially early on in the game. You can cycle through multiple Scoop Up Nets, reuse Comfey a few times, and really get going a lot faster. Of course, we also play Colress's Experiment. It is the supporter to draw extra cards and Lost Zone cards. So we gotta play 4 copies of that. We play 3 copies of Serena because it's not only draw, it is also gusting our opponent's Pokemon V. And since we are nothing but single prize Pokemon, we really want to take advantage of any Pokemon V that our opponent puts down. So Serena is kind of a must play here. We've got 3 copies of Pokégear because we only have 7 supporters in the deck. Pokégear lets us find those supporters a little bit easier. So 3 copies of that in the deck. We've got 1 copy of Energy Recycler because our Pokemon require 3 energy to attack. A lot of energy goes into the discard when one of them's knocked down. Energy Recycler helps us keep up with our energy, and Mirage Gate searches the deck for energy, so it's a nice combo there. We also played 2 copies of Ordinary Rod to get our Pokemon back from the discard, as well as a couple energy. So 2 copies of Ordinary Rod, while only 1 copy of Energy Recycler, because Energy Recycler is so much more powerful, but more situational. It's, you know, the give and take. We have 4 copies of Quick Ball because we play nothing but basics. So we don't really need any other Pokemon search, just Quick Ball. 2 copies of Path to the Peak because, I don't know, is there a better stadium for the deck? Please let me know. I went Path to the Peak because it is great to kind of mess up your opponent's strategy, a little bit of disruption, especially against Lugia V-Star. Often, Path to the Peak delaying them for a turn or 2 can really turn the tide to your favor. I don't know what other stadium to play. Frankly, that's about it. That is our trainer lineup, and our energy lineup has 6 fighting energy and 5 Water energy. Why less water than fighting when I said our primary attacker is Keldeo, a water Pokemon, and our secondary attacker is Terrakion, a fighting Pokemon? Pretty simple. Their energy cost of the attack. Keldeo requires 1 water, 2 colorless, while Terrakion requires 2 fighting, 1 colorless. That difference there is why, you know, we play more fighting than water. But, you know, we still play pretty large amount of both in order to be able to find them in the deck with Mirage Gate. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead, hit test deck, and test this deck against an AI. As soon as this loads. Alright, so for a second there, I wasn't sure if a test deck feature would work. I had to reboot the app and all that stuff to get to work. So hopefully now we can have a good match. Boy, it's been a struggle recently. Never had an issue with the test deck feature before, but now we're having an issue. And I'm really just trying to show you how the deck works, you know, show you the deck in action so that, you know, you can take my list and be like, oh, okay, I understand the basics of how to play this. Terrakion is possibly our worst starter, but we will try to make it work. We did, ooh, what are we playing against? Suicune? The Suicune deck. That is what we're playing against, something that specializes in getting one-hit KOs on basic Pokemon. We'll see what our opponent does, if that works out for them or not. Lotad is the starting Pokemon of choice. Ooh, Ice Rider Calyrex is also in that deck. I forget that all the time. So our turn, we got Terrakion in the active. We get Keldeo. I'm going to play Colress's Experiment. We get Comfey. We get Scoop Up Net and Air Balloon. Those are huge, actually, because we can play down the Comfey. We can Scoop Up Net the Terrakion. The Comfey can go into the active. Terrakion can come down. We can Air Balloon the Comfey so it can retreat later on. We will Flower Selecting with the Comfey. We can get Mirage Gate, which is amazing. And we can Quick Ball away a Water Energy. Grab... let's see, we can grab Virizion. However, yeah, we don't have 4 cards. So we will go and grab Virizion with the Quick Ball. Attach 1 energy to Virizion. Retreat into Virizion. And do 90 damage with the 4-as-1 attack. Which is not bad. Not bad. Get that KO. Get a prize. Mirage Gate, a fantastic prize for us. Now, Comfey has got to put in a lot of work here. We'll be using Flower Selecting quite a bit in order to try to get going. But hopefully our opponent can't pop off too fast because they're an AI. But 90 damage from Virizion is still something to consider. Boss's Orders comes down on the Cobalion. Interesting play there. We get another Cobalion, but we don't have any way to remove it from the active. But they don't have any energy, so I'm actually going to attach to the Cobalion and pass. Because they need to get 2 energy on there in order to get a KO, but that's going to be a lot of work for them. I can get 2 energy on the Cobalion and start accelerating to the Pokemon I have on the bench. So our backup energy accelerator is coming in quite useful right now. Now, if they can't play Melanie to accelerate energy, if they have another way to accelerate energy, that could happen. Let's see. Alright. So Cobalion will do 60. Why 60? Oh, because it's weak. The Ice Rider is weak. So we will select those 2 Pokemon. We will grab a Water and a Fighting. Water goes on to Keldeo. Fighting goes on to Terrakion. Now, our opponent most likely will knock out this Cobalion their next turn, which is not great for us. Yeah, they got the energy they need. They're Marnieing us, so this Cobalion will be going away as well. That is too bad. We do get Cramorant, we do get an Air Balloon and a Quick Ball. Do we need to worry about bench damage? I don't think so. So we can Quick Ball away the Manaphy and get that Cobalion so we can actually do stuff. Now, Comfey is still going to have to put in some pretty big work here. 260 damage remaining on that. We can throw down the path to the peak. Quick ball the Manaphy away. Grab Cobalion. Play that down. And flower selecting. What can that get us? Another Comfey and a path to the peak. Now, I'm not going to play the other Comfey yet. I'm going to play the Cramorant, because the Cramorant can deal some damage while we are searching for other things. So 110 is pretty good. Now, Keldeo is in one-hit KO territory. We just need to get 2 energy. So we need a Mirage Gate in order to get 2 energy onto Keldeo and use that for his 1 attack. And that'll get us 3 prizes, which will be a massive swing in momentum. Or they can boss his orders our Keldeo and not get the KO. Interesting. So we will Pokégear. Pokégear will grab a Serena. Ooh, we can actually Serena away the Comfey and try to get some extra cards here. That is going to be what I do. Let's see, what do we get? What do we get? We get some decent stuff, but nothing groundbreaking. Just we have to retreat into the Cramorant. And Cramorant will get some more damage down, but now even Virizion looks like it can get the KO next turn. Yeah, 40 HP. That's easy for Virizion to hit. Professor's Research comes down, so we know we're not going to get bossed this turn. Now they have 2 energy on this Ice Rider. And that means Ride of the High King is active, and our deck really needs a lot of benched Pokemon, so Ride of the High King is going to do a lot of damage, but Virizion is going to clean up next turn. Yep, Cramorant is down. They have taken 2 prizes. They have gained the advantage on prizes, but not for long, because Virizion is going to do some damage. Alright, so we did get Mirage Gate, but it's still not active. We need quite a bit in the Lost Zone still. So let's Flower Select. That gets us a Scoop Up and a Water. I'm going to take the Water. Energy is very valuable right now. Get that onto Keldeo. How much energy is in the discard? 3 energy. Okay. Let's Pokégear. We get Colress's Experiment. That is exactly what we wanted. With that, we will have 7 cards in the Lost Zone, and that will turn on a lot of things. 2 Colress and a Switch Cart. That's what I like to see. Our hand is finally being built correctly. Let's see. Do we Energy Recycler or do we Mirage Gate first? I want to say we Energy Recycler first. 3 energy is quite a bit. 1, 2, 3... Especially since we already have 4 energy already out on the field. So we can Mirage Gate, a Water and a Fighting. The Water will, of course, go to Keldeo, and the Fighting, of course, to Terrakion. Let's see. We can play down the Comfey, just so we have some extra draw here. I will even retreat into the Comfey. No, let's just go to Virizion and get this KO. We'll hold on to the Switch Cart for when Virizion gets KO'd, and we have to accelerate a little bit faster. Now, this does put us in a phenomenal position of Keldeo can actually get the 1-hit KO on Suicune. We just need to keep Virizion in the field. So we've got the Quick Ball. We can find our other Virizion. It's not in the discard. And it's not in the Lost Zone. So if it's not one of these 2 prizes, we are golden. Yeah, Suicune getting 2 energy on it. Pretty simple. They were able to pull it off. Pumpkaboo gets scooped up and put down to turn on Pokemon V abilities. We have Serena, so we can gust up a Suicune if they decide to run, which I just don't think they're going to do. Yep, they get the KO on Virizion. We're going to put up Comfey first. Comfey goes into the active. I'm going to play down the Fighting Energy onto Terrakion. And that Pokégear, we can go ahead, Quick Ball that away. and search out Virizion. Now, there is an argument I should have Colress. I should have tried to find a Ordinary Rod to recover and all that. Completely valid. Just didn't think of it in time. We will retreat into Keldeo. Let's go ahead and play the Colress. See extra cards. There is the Ordinary Rod, a Mirage Gate, and another Mirage Gate. We're golden. And Keldeo comes in with its giant 4-as-1 attack, doing 220 damage, knocking out Suicune V, and giving us our last 2 prizes. And that is how the deck works. Except, preferably, you will start Comfey and, you know, all that. Did I start Comfey? I forget. That was such a long time ago. That was ages ago. Rewind if you want. Alright, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this look at Lost Swords of Justice. And I hope you enjoyed the matches I have that I'll find out what they are. I haven't played them yet. But the matches that will be coming for the rest of the week. Yeah. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Once I hit 100, we're going to have a Discord for people to talk about Pokemon cards. So hopefully you will join the ranks there. So, you know, share with your friends, get them to subscribe. Once we hit 100, Discord for everyone. And, what else? What else? Oh, of course, until next time, keep playing Jank.